Good morning. Welcome to the Pitch Track Chronicles. I'm Uncle Taz. I'm here at Robinho, and it is Friday, and we are happy to end the week with all of you guys. And it's been a little bit of a busy week for us as we try to, clear some business out of the way, getting into the opening day next week. So just to give you guys a heads up of what's to come on Monday, the three of us, we breaking down our predictions of who's going to make the 26-man roster. Are we all going to have the same roster? Who knows? You're going to have to tune in to find out. And then on Wednesday, our season predictions. Right? Who do we think is going to rise to the occasion and who is not? So, and then on Friday, we will be able to break down a regular season game. Something I've been waiting a long time to say because we really do enjoy breaking the games down. So just make sure you hit that sub button if you want to join the chat on all those discussions. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button and share this out. The season's coming. The fun has only just begun. But one player that's really has not been having much fun. I want to bring his. I know we keep bringing it back to this player because we've really been rallying for him. Pretty much since we started doing these shows 5 years back, is Oswald Peraza and the uncertainty of his future, because he started the spring training, and we were all saying he's the guy. He's got it. It was his to lose at that point, and it seems like he has lost his starting position with the way things have been playing out. The bat really hasn't been there. No issues with the glove. We know his glove. Total confidence in it. But when you're batting 190 in the spring where you're really supposed to be showcasing yourself, Rob, it's really not a good look.
No, you're right. What is he? Like a 470 OPS, something like that. It's not good.
Well, this spring his OPS is 475.
Yeah, that's bad. Let's just call it what it is.
22 at bats. He's batting 190, 0 home runs, 2 RBIs, and only 1 stolen base.
He's been outplayed by multiple people. Cabrera but Cabrera won the job. It's clearly his. Yeah. He was outplayed by Vivas, who was optioned. He was outplayed by Velasquez, who's not gonna make the team, obviously. He was outplayed by Vargas, and he's been outplayed by Pablo Reyes to a large degree. Reyes has basically doubled his average almost, and he's got a home run, 4 ribbies, and an 896 OPS. I think Reyes is making this team over Peraza. Unless what they should do is over the next 4 days, the next 5 games that we have left of spring, they got to play both of them. Every single game. They got to play both Peraza and Reyes and see who wins it. If it's still up for grabs, that backup spot. I don't think it is. I think Reyes has it. But if Peraza wants to make this team, he's going to have to really go crazy these next few games, because after that hot start, it's been rough. It's been bad. He can't hit. I don't know what it is. Like, he got out to a great start. He was looking good in batting practice. He was looking good in simulation. He was looking good, or sim games. He was looking good in spring. And then next thing you know, his average dumped, his OPS dumped. He's barely making good contact. Sean says it pretty well here. He's too streaky. I don't think we can put too much of a label on him because we haven't seen it to a large scale at the major league level, but this was his chance. And I said this the other day. This was his chance to take the job and run with it. And unfortunately, he hasn't been able to do it. So we'll see what happens these next few days. But to me, if you're asking me right now, the question in the title, has he shown enough to make the roster? I think the answer is no.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I really, and it's a shame because he's out of options. So now, like, what's the Yankees? What's that decision going to be? It's a big, like, the Yankees now have a really big problem because our argument, for the last couple of weeks was you passed up on trading this guy for a lot of big time players because you had all this promise in him, and there was 2 spring seasons ago where it was him and Volpe were going head to head for the shortstop, and they both played very well that spring. There was no wrong way to go, despite where Volpe is now and where Peraza is now. In that moment, there really was no wrong way. he had a chance to say, all right, that was not a fluke of a spring. I can do this. I can, maintain a professionalism and productivity on a major league level. He hasn't done it. As much as we like him and we've been cheering for him, we also have to be really honest about it. Peraza has been very underwhelming, in my opinion. And I think that the the time to trade him for anything of value is gone. That's a foregone conclusion. You can't. I don't even think he's a guy you can keep on the bench unless it's a defensive replacement. But who are you going to replace him with defensively? That's not already playing well enough. It's not like we have LeMahieu healthy, where you're going to want to get LeMahieu off his feet late in the game, so you put Peraza at third or at second or wherever he's going to be. Peraza now kind of played himself to be the odd man out. It's a shame.
Yeah, and he's never really had great spring numbers if you look at it.
You look back,
2023 he was outplayed by Volpe, so I don't know. There shouldn't be any second guessing that. If you look at their numbers, like Volpe absolutely crushed it in spring that year, where Peraza didn't. So he's never really had good spring numbers, but he has had really good minor league numbers. So I still think it's worth a shot to see what he can do with extended playing time. But anyone that's on this roster now is going to be a platoon guy. And I agree with TC about Cabrera. He's not an everyday player, but he's also a guy that can hit right-handed pitching very, very well. So he's going to get the bulk of the at-bats at third, whereas the next guy is really just going to be who hits left-handed pitching. And to me, that's Pablo Reyes, because Reyes has hit lefties before, yep. And he's also been hitting in the spring where Peraza hasn't. So it's a shame. If we want to play the hindsight game, they should have traded him 3 years ago when the Yankees turned down the trade for Torres and Peraza to get Pablo Lopez. So hindsight game, I hate playing it, but maybe they should have done it. Maybe they should have traded him for Castillo that year, right? They should have included him and other prospects. So you can't keep going back on it. I mean, obviously the Yankees have never really given him a fair shake, but this was the spring where he had open competition and he didn't run away with it. He didn't do himself any favors in 23. He was outplayed. Just look up the numbers and you'll see what I'm saying. Volpe completely outplayed him, and this time around, he's been outplayed by about 4 different people. It's not like it was between him and Cabrera just had the edge. No, I mean, look at the other guys. Like I said, and I agree with Ken, I think Vivas really deserves a shot, but they're going to use that 4th option that they were gifted, and they already did, so they'll send him up and down this year, and that's going to be an issue to deal with next season if they keep him, unless they don't trade him. But you can't not look at the numbers and say Peraza deserves to be on this team over a Reyes or even Andrew Velasquez, even Squid. Squid probably deserves the spot over Peraza at this point. That's how poorly Peraza has played. Now, can something change in the next 5 days? Absolutely. He can hit the crap out of the ball, and the Yankees are like, all right, hot streak at the right time, go into it, and let's see what he's the platoon guy. You can use his defense and his speed, but Pablo Reyes also plays every position that he does, plus he plays the outfield, and he can hit lefties. And he's a better bench option probably than Peraza is. I just think it makes too much sense. It's unfortunate. I think what they're going to try and do is maybe they look to move him similar. Like I've been saying this for weeks now. The same thing they did with Florial, where they move him for an arm. The Yankees need an arm right now. I'm not saying in the major league rest. They just need someone to stash in AAA in case of emergency. That might be the best. That might be the best way to go. And I agree with Sean. I think Grisham, Escara. I think Dom Smith's going to be on the bench, and then Reyes. I think Rice is going to be the DH, but I think both Smith and Rice are going to make this team. But
they're going to share the role.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to DH against lefties, but that's another discussion. I don't think Peraza has done enough, and I can't see a scenario where in the next 5 days he takes the spot back from Reyes. But hey, maybe he does. I would love to see it. I'm still a big fan of the kid. I think he's got a lot of potential, but unfortunately he has not been able to prove any of us right. and that was his opportunity. It was this spring to do it. He hasn't been able to do it.
Yeah, I think he's going to end up more like a Tyler Estrada, where you knew he had the ability, the talent was there, just didn't they really didn't utilize it properly to fit him into a role, and was able to because Estrada has played really well when he was with San Francisco. And really kind of carved the name for himself. It might be that for Peraza as well. We're going to have to see where the Yankees go in their decision, because right now it's really a speculation of what his role is going to be. Are they going to trust him to just stay on the bench, or are they going to have to release him or try to squeeze him into a trade to fill other needs? But he doesn't have, but he's going to be like a tack onto an ad because he can't be the primary player anymore. The Yankees' fault is not just his playing this spring, but to the Yankees' fault as well over the years has not done him any favors for his value. But I do want to also really quick, what's going on? Dev re-upping his membership for 4 months. Appreciate you for giving us the support and keeping the lights on with the memberships.
I'm just very frustrated about Peraza, man. Like, we're all fans of him, and I know a lot of people in our chat are fans of him. I'm just wondering what happens next. And again, we're still days away, so a lot can happen. But let's take this time to say hello to the chat at least. It's a Friday morning. We've got a good 28 people in here between X and YouTube. So hop on over to YouTube, say hello to us in the chat, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. Let's say hello to everybody. We got Sean, we got Dev, we got Raziel. He's saying pay the plug. Let's listen to Raziel. Listen to Lynch. He's saying the same thing. Nosebleeds here. TC, Ken Claus, who made that great point about Vivas. We've got the usual suspects. Jonathan here. Let's give a special shout out to Jonathan, because yes. Jonathan, what's up, Stevie B? What's up, Joe? What's up, Lou? FJ, what's up, 01? But Jonathan coming in at 8:19 this morning, saying good morning, birthday today, so he'll be in and out. Jonathan, if you're still here, and if you're not, we understand. Happy birthday. Thank you for being such a great supporter of the channel and being here bright and early, earlier than us, every single morning to say good morning. So Jonathan, special shout out to you. Happy birthday, my friend. Enjoy the day. Ken Claus coming through yet again with another gifted membership. So Ken, the gift that keeps on giving on a day that we're celebrating Jonathan's birthday. Also, special shout out to Mrs. Stewart, Donald's mom, celebrating a birthday as well. That's why Donald's not here today, out celebrating the day with his mom. So special shout out to Mama Donald. Happy birthday. And let's keep going with the baseball chat, because spring is almost over. I'm so freaking happy. This spring takes every year. We get excited for the first week, and then it's like, come on, get it over with. Let's get to the regular season.
Yeah. Now, I want to sidetrack the Yankee talk just for a split second with your and that is, it bothered me. It bothers me, right? That the Dodgers, and I understand they want to showcase to Japan. They want, they're really trying to expand the viewership of Major League Baseball. Do they have to be regular season games that count towards the record? Can't they just be an exhibition to showcase in a full 9-inning game? Because now you have two teams that have already had 2 games under their belt before. It's almost like they're really kind of rushed to decide what they want to do for the season, because it's not you're going to take your whole roster with you. So you had players that were left behind that maybe on the brink, on the cusp of making the team. They can't take everybody in their system that's available. But it also, I view it as kind of like a disadvantage to other teams, because now during the year, those 2 clubs, and it's not just a Dodger thing, right? I'm going to get that out of the way. It could have been the Cardinals and the Cubs. I don't give a shit. But now they're going to have 2 already built-in rest days while before anybody started their 162. And I kind of think that MLB needs to do that just a little bit different.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a really cool concept. I just don't think it should be happening while spring training is still going.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, either like you said, make it an exhibition, or
During the All-Star break.
yeah, you can do that, or you can just have it where they're playing on opening day like everybody else, or at least like the day before because the time difference. But if you want to count it as a regular season game, why are you doing it like 2 weeks before the season actually starts? I just think the timing is weird. I think it's a really cool concept. I think it's really fun because obviously the Dodgers have the Japanese star power. We know this. They got the best player to probably ever come out of Japan. They've got they got multiple really good players. And the Cubs as well. They got Shota Imanaga. They got Seiya Suzuki. So it's a star-studded affair, and it's a great atmosphere. Anyone who watched those games, you know how much they love baseball in Japan. So they appreciated it. It was really
Did
fun
you see
to
the
watch.
ratings?
Were they good? I don't really pay attention to the
25
ratings.
million people tuned in for the first game.
Good.
Now, for their population, that was about 1 out of every 5 people was sitting in front of their TV set to watch baseball. You're not getting that in the States.
It's pretty damn good. So
So
it's
it's up to us
worth
to
it.
really do better to promote this game, not us ourselves, but us in the States. MLB really needs to do better in improving um, this game rather than all these little ridiculous rule changes. But which I don't want to really get into. We've gone over them extensively over the last couple of years. It's a dead issue at this point. But yeah, nobody in the States really cares about baseball as much anymore. It's really a shame.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily that. It's just more.
The marketing.
Well, also it was like 4 a.m, so it's like not a lot of people are going to be waking up at 4 a.m. to watch the game. I mean, the time difference is one thing, but I just think that the timing of it was weird. I didn't like when they did it last year because it's like you had the first 2 games of the regular season take place, and there's still multiple spring games that are being played. So it's like other teams are still figuring out their rosters, and here are the Dodgers and Cubs already 2-0 and 0-2. I just think it looks weird, but other than that, I think it's a really cool thing. I just don't know if maybe they make it an exhibition game, or they just do it when they have it the same day of opening day, or like the day before. Like I said, that can be the official start of the season, but have it when spring is officially over. So it's not like, because are they going to go back to playing spring games? Like, what are the Dodgers and Cubs doing now? Like, it's just weird to
spring
me.
Training.
Yeah, it's weird. I just think it's just timing is
Doesn't
weird.
make sense.
I have no problem with them doing it. I just think that they should do it when the season is about to start instead of like a week or two before.
Yeah, let them go. Like opening day is really Thursday, even though they already called it opening day the other day. No, that's not opening day. Opening day is the 27th. But I think what it should be is just like when you're playing game 162, every team plays at the same time. I think opening day should be the same way. That's my opinion. I mean, I have not worked opening day in 16 years. Okay. I'd rather be off on opening day than Christmas Day. That's just me. I'm a lunatic. But that's where I get myself set for the day, but I just engulf myself in as much baseball as possible. But if they want to start changing when opening day is, that's not going to bode well for me.
Yeah, it's just, and again, I know what they're doing. It's a special affair because it's in Japan. Japan loves baseball, and you got Otani, you got Yamamoto, and Sasaki was pitching, and that was a big thing. And you had Suzuki and Imanaga, and it was very well marketed. They did a lot of good stuff there. It was very fun. Obviously, a lot of people are not going to wake up that early to watch baseball. I understand it. It's freaking early in the morning. It's 4 a.m. So, yeah, you're right, John. You can accommodate for the time zones, but it doesn't mean they shouldn't do it. I have no problem with games being played elsewhere. I think it's actually really cool. You want to expand the game, showcase some of your best teams internationally. Like when they brought the Yankees and Red Sox to London, clearly the balls were juiced. There's no way the teams are hitting the crap out of the ball that way they were. But that's what you do. You want to expand the game. You put it internationally. You put some historic teams out there. The Cubs and Dodgers are very historic teams. Obviously, a lot of star power. And you get eyes on the product that way. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think the date was weird and the way the standings have officially begun in the regular season when only 2 teams have played. That's my only issue. That's my only issue with it is when it took place. Everything else is perfectly fine about it.
Yeah,
and John, what's the big deal if it happens in Mexico, the Dominican Republic? It doesn't matter. Japan is still a country. Yeah. What's the big deal if it happens in Japan or if it happens in Mexico? Like, it's international. It's baseball. All those countries, Mexico loves baseball. Dominican Republic loves baseball.
Yeah.
Japan loves baseball. Bring them to. I want to see more of that. I just don't think it should have happened in the middle of spring training. That's my only issue with it.
Exactly. It's not that the games were played. For me, it's when the games were played and that they count towards the regular season. That's my gripe. That was it. But I do like this comment here from FJ. And all the comments, you guys are killing it. Look how hard it is to see baseball. You need to take out a bank loan to take your family to the ballpark, and you have to subscribe to multiple streaming services to see your team. It is expensive if you follow multiple teams to watch these games. Because even with the MLB app, what is it up to now? 149 for the year, right? 159, somewhere in that range. Baby.
Get T-Mobile, you get it for free every single year.
No, because I would still be because with the Yes Network in New York, you're still blocked from it.
You legally stream it.
No, well, that's another. That's you didn't hear that from us. I'm telling you.
Break the law.
But like they don't have the Yes app anymore, so now they all have this like Gotham app, which is I was gonna bring this up, but I had a busy night at work with some overtime, so I wasn't able to do the After Dark show this week. And 40 I think it was $45 a month for the Gotham app for all the New York teams. That's crazy. That's just ridiculous. Especially if you're not a big fan of other sports. Like, I would only be buying it to watch the Yankee games. But why am I, and when the Yes app first came out, it was $20 a month, then it went to $25, and then they just started really it got out of control. Once they started getting their exclusive content for the app, it was like, well, now we can boost everybody, we can get more money out of everybody, which is really the wrong way to go. With all the money these teams are bringing in, they can't find a more affordable way for people. It's really a shame.
Yeah, but that's the way it is nowadays. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of games on Prime. There's going to be a lot of games on Apple TV. I'll say it again, Lynn, if you want me to. I'll say it louder. What are they going to do? You're going to hear a knock at my door in about 5 seconds. But find it on the internet, people, because you can find these games for free. There are ways to find it. I'm not going to say a name of a website because I've had a couple of them taken away that I like to use. But yeah, there's ways to watch these games. There's always a way to find these things online, and you don't have to pay a single cent. So just
you might have a delay in the game. You might be a batter or so behind, but you'll at least be able, if you turn your phone off, there's always a way to
enjoy baseball.
Enjoy it without the spoilers.
And you know what? The money that you would use to have to pay for a streaming service, make yourself a sandwich. Yeah, go make yourself a sandwich. Go to the store, buy some cold cuts and some bread, and enjoy baseball illegally, but in the comfort of your own home, and not have to worry about paying Amazon Prime to watch one game and then cancel. Like I did that with Apple TV. I got the subscription last year, and I don't use it. So you can ask Donald. I spent a good 30 minutes after the stream trying to cancel the goddamn thing, and I couldn't figure out how, but I finally did it because I'm not going to use it. But just find other ways. There are other ways to watch these games, guys. You'll be all right. We'll be all right. We're going to be able to get 162 games of Yankee baseball one way or the other. I guarantee it.
Yeah, or you can do what I do, and if you want to join me, you're more than welcome. I go to the bar near my house. I go to Prime Burger and Bar in Comac, New York, on Long Island. I'll be there for the entire game if you want to come hang out. And there's also, there are, have get-togethers. Go hang out with you. Everybody should be off anyway. It should be a national holiday. I've been saying that pretty much forever. But no, it's, with like bottom line, where there's a way to watch these games. It's just a shame that all these different streaming, because you need Gotham app, the Yes Network, Peacock, Apple TV. Like it's too much. MLB app should just get rid of all these blackouts. Say they upped it to $200 a year. You could watch all 30 teams. If you're paying that price, it's 0 blackouts. You'd be surprised how many people start tuning into the MLB app.
We've been saying that for years, right? It's all you got to do.
What happens?
If every sport just had one app, their own app, where you just pay a price and you get to watch every game, I'm guaranteeing people would do it. It's just they don't. But there's more money in having games on Amazon Prime and Peacock and Apple. I understand it. I'm never going to say trying to make money is a bad thing. They're not doing anything illegal. They're obviously, we don't like it, but they're not doing anything illegal. So I can't be like, damn it. I can be.
I mean, I think it's safe to say probably half of baseball fans probably already have those apps for other things anyway. Yeah. But it's still, it's the principle of the thing. Yeah, it's like enough. You reach into our pockets enough. Knock it off.
In the conversation about growing the game when you have to pay for 5 different subscription services, it's pretty ridiculous. But it's not just baseball that has this problem. Football's doing it. Like you got Netflix has games, Peacock, Nickelodeon has games. So it's every sport. It's just the way to make money. I get it. Don't like it, but I get it. But hey, again, like TC said, if you're a true fan, you're going to find a way to watch the game.
Oh, sure. I do.
There you go. That's it. Yeah. That's all you need to know. And whatever site you use, do not shout it out, please, because I don't want that website getting taken down. But
let's keep it amongst ourselves. We know which ones you guys are talking about. But back to the Yankee talk. All right, let's get to Oswald. Let's get to Cabrera. Right. I was, and we've been saying it. I've been a big champion of him to just be the next LeMahieu, as keep him out of a specific position and utilize him as your utility guy. I have to say, I like the idea of him having a home on the field. I think that's actually helped him this spring kind of elevate a little bit. I might have to start kind of changing my opinion on it.
The thing is, they've used him at so many different positions already. It's not like they've only played him at third. He's played second, he's played right, he's played first. So the Yankees clearly like his versatility, but he's probably best at third base. That's the thing. His best position is third base, and he's also hitting the crap out of the ball right now. So I'm looking at his stats right now. He's hitting .310, 2 homers, 2 stolen bases, 3 ribbies, and an .822 OPS. He took the job and ran with it. There's no other conversation to be had about it. He's got to be the everyday third baseman unless he can start hitting lefties. That's where you're going to have the platoon. It's who's going to face left-handed pitching, because he still hasn't been able to do it, at least in the regular season. But so far, I have no complaints about Cabrera. He's been phenomenal. He's had a really good spring. This is what you were hoping for, was that somebody from this competition would take it and run with it. Yep. And Cabrera has. And Reyes has taken that bench spot. So the Yankees, if we're being honest, I know it's only spring training, but if you look at the stats, Cabrera has been leaps and bounds better than Nolan Arenado. Arenado's having a terrible spring. Cabrera's been phenomenal. And he's been doing it at multiple positions. So, hey, good on Cabrera. I'm happy for him. I still think his value is to be a utility guy, but if that's what Pablo Reyes can be, then I have no problem with Cabrera being the third baseman until they have to find a platoon guy. And maybe he starts hitting lefties and he takes that job and just that's where he stays. But knowing that you can move him around is also a good luxury to have. But if he's your go-to third baseman, if he's hitting like this, I can't complain about it.
No, and with the righties, lefties, it wouldn't surprise me if he did start hitting for against both sides of the plate. you know, that he's more comfortable in a position. Like he's not getting to the ballpark, going, all right, what position am I playing today? Because now you're working on more of your fielding prep than your batting prep. So that could also help him with his batting numbers. We're gonna have to see how the season plays out. But Cabrera, look, I've always liked him. And I've been a cheerleader for him, and I'm glad that I really like that they're giving him a serious look to be our third baseman. I think he earned it.
Yeah, and Ken, who exactly are they going to go get at this point that's been better than what they've gotten from Peraza? Because the options were available 2 months ago and they didn't get any of them, and they don't want to spend any more money. So who exactly are they going to add that's been better than Cabrera? I can't think of anybody. They don't want to add money. If they're going to add payroll, it's got to be for a pitcher at this point, just to stash an extra arm in the minors. I don't think anyone's available. So maybe they add a bench bat, but Pablo Reyes has proven to be at least a valuable piece on the bench. If you're just going by spring training stats, again, that could mean anything. A guy can hit 400 in spring and hit 200 in the regular season, but if you're using the spring to fight for spots on the roster, why not give it to Cabrera? Why not give it to Reyes? Why not at least start with in-house? So I agree with Jonathan. Believe it or not, the best options are internally right now.
Yep.
I mean, if they didn't trust these guys, they would have made a move. And if anyone does shake loose, it's going to be like a John Birdie type. And is John Birdie going to be better than Cabrera at this point? I don't think so.
Sean's putting this in there, and congrats, Sean, on getting the gift of membership from Ken. We did see that earlier. Jace Young was optioned by the Tigers, probably mainly because if you look, Torres is having a pretty good spring, but he always does. But he hasn't really digressed with his new team, so. Yeah, Jace Young, might have been an option, but I'm with Sean. I'm with Jonathan. It's the answers are there internally, and it's going to make next week really interesting because, like Doran's saying, 131 players without options are currently on 40-man rosters. 134, including Peraza, Gomez, and Leiter on the Yankees. Things will be interesting in the next week. It is going to be crazy. Which is why I think it's going to be fun that we're doing it on Monday, because
chaos,
yeah.
But it doesn't mean that like Jose Ramirez is going to become available or something. We're not talking about like this amazing can't miss third baseman is going to be. It's not like Bregman's going to come back on the market. We're talking about like bench pieces, and again, I don't know if any of the guys that we could potentially add are going to be better than Cabrera as a starter, or if they even would be maybe a bench guy. But again, I think they take their chance with someone that's already here in their own camp having a good spring, and that's Pablo Reyes. I just feel like anyone they add, maybe, McLean would be an interesting add, but I just don't. I think there was some conversations about Cincinnati using him in the outfield. He's also he was an exciting player, prospect, and all that. It's probably going to take a lot to get him. So, yeah, FJ. I mean, if the Cleveland Guardians said Ramirez is available, you give up the farm for him. But I'm saying, like, it's not like one of these elite players are going to shake loose from a roster because they're out of options. Like, look at who we're talking about. Mark Leiter. Would anyone really miss him? I think Yoendrys Gomes has been phenomenal this spring. He better make this team, but he's out of options, so they kind of either have to use him or you got to get rid of him. And the same thing applies to Peraza. So I just don't know if anyone that's going to be available in the next few days is considered an upgrade. Jace Young, that'd be fine.
Yep.
Why would the Tigers move him? They know they have options and they can keep him in the minor leagues unless they need him. Doesn't mean he's available for trade. There's a lot of things happening. Like we optioned Vivas, doesn't mean we're going to trade him. If something goes wrong, we have Vivas. We still have Squid. We still even for now we have Peraza. So it's about fringe player. Yeah, it's it's fringe players that are available, and if anything, I can see them adding an arm. I just don't know because look at the positions that were open. Third base, Cabrera ran away with it. Backup infielder, Pablo Reyes has ran away with it. Backup catcher, Escara has run away with it.
Yep.
You knew Grisham was going to make the team no matter what, and then they were figuring out DH when Stanton was hurt. So, no, I like the Birdie
Yeah, we
pickup,
like
but
Birdie.
I love the Birdie pickup. But are the Cubs going to get rid of him now, especially when they're dealing with the Nico Horner injury? See, I don't know if a player like Birdie is going to become available. Also, last year it was the Marlins. They sell everybody. So, do the Marlins have another player like John Birdie available? Right now, they don't really have anybody. So, well, again, it's really just I think the in-house options have done it. I think they've done their job.
Yeah,
I can't say they haven't. Like, look at Dominic Smith. You know, there you go,
I don't
TC.
care, TC.
He's looked great. Ben Rice he has the highest exit velocity in all of spring training next to, I can't remember who it was, but it's him and somebody else. They've had like the best exit velo in all of spring. And now it's starting to click for Ben Rice, where instead of these being hard outs, they're going over the wall, they're dropping in for hits. So I think the in-house options have all passed the test to where it's not necessary to have to go get one of those fringe players. You can go into the season with Reyes on the bench, and if something goes wrong, maybe if Smith starts to fizzle out, which he probably will, then you still have Everson Pereira, who was also having a good spring. You still have Vivas, who's having a good spring. These in-house options have all put themselves into the conversation. So 2 weeks ago, I would have absolutely been like, oh, you got to add another bat, go get somebody, whoever shakes loose. But now I think it's more on the pitching side. I think offensively, there's really nobody we can add from that quote-unquote bargain bin that's going to be an upgrade. Pitching-wise, I would get anybody you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, the bargain. I don't know, but I don't think he really is. And Don Smith looked good, like you guys were saying. But the other thing with Rice is his swing just looks more natural. It doesn't look like last year when he really fell into that slump. You know, you could just see he was just trying to force the ball to certain points of the field where it really threw his timing off. But this time it just seems like he's more comfortable with his own swing and he trusts his swing. That's a big factor. And with the uncertainty with Goldschmidt, because he's now him with the back. Having Rice and Dom Smith both on a 26-man roster also gives you assurance for first base defense. Is it to Goldschmidt's level? Obviously not. But it's the Yankees right now. It seems like the players that they have in their system are self-correcting other issues right now. And we'll see how the next 5 days play out with the rest of the games of who continues to stand out, if anybody kind of rises, and who falls off.
I do want to ask this question to you in the chat because it's been pretty much it's been an ongoing discussion on Twitter at least because I see that Doran brought up Ian Hamilton. I'm glad he pitched last night because I think he looked really good and we need him. This bullpen needs it because Fernando Cruz looks terrible. But Clark Schmidt more than likely isn't going to be ready for opening day, but it doesn't mean he's going to miss a lot of time, which is a good sign that he was able to throw a simulated game and come out of it feeling good or throw a bullpen. But I think the Yankees need to play this smart. If you have to IL him for 2-3 weeks even, do it. Carrasco and Warren have been fine. I know Warren got tagged last night, but it was his worst outing of the spring. I think what do you think? Clark Schmidt IL, or do you just go into the season with him?
I said it the other day on our last show. I said, just start him on the IL. Don't rush it. It's we have players to step up, especially with the way that Cookie's spring has been going. It's if you have to start your season with Rodon, Fried, Carrasco, Stroman, Warren, it could be worse. Especially if that means not having to rush Schmidt back. because he's the guy that you're going to need to rely on for innings and possible depth in the second half of the season, to give the bullpen a rest, because we are going to rely a lot on the bullpen, which is why um, they got to really be careful and really do their research of who they're going to have in their pen.
Yeah, that's why if they have him go on to the opening day roster, I think it's a bad idea. Just like Doran's saying, he needs to ramp up to 80 plus pitches. That takes 3 weeks. He's barely thrown this spring. Let him be 100% ready. Do not rush this guy back. There's no point. Warren can more than handle it. And again, they're going to go with like a 4-man rotation anyway to start because they got days off. So it can go Fried, Rodon, Stroman, Fried, Rodon, and then possibly Carrasco would get a start after. They might not even need Will Warren till like the second go around anyway. So they could potentially start the year with Warren in AAA and give another bullpen arm a spot. That's a way they could go. I know people might not want to hear that.
It wouldn't surprise me.
That's how they do it. They always do that. So,
and you don't know, like we were saying with players that are out of options that are just going to be released or whatnot. You don't know by over the next couple of days who's going to be available. We brought up Birdie earlier. You never know what trick Cashman has up his sleeve before the first game of the season starts, which is why the Yankees don't release their opening day roster. They don't release the 26-man roster really till the very last second of the deadline before the opening night. They wait till the last possible moment because Cashman's, whether we like the way he operates or not, he's always working. So I will give him that. He doesn't just be like, all right, spring, opening day's tomorrow, I'm just going to take a rest. No, he's on the phone all day, and trying to see what else can be done. But that's why I think by, I would say Tuesday, we'll have a better feel of where this team is going to go with the pitching department. You're muted.
My bad. There was some noise out there, so I had to mute myself. But that's why I do think if there are any bargain bin guys that do become available, it's got to be from the pitching side. Add as many pitchers as you can to stash in the minor leagues. And that's why I think if Peraza does get traded, it should be for an arm. Even if it's an arm that nobody knows about, nobody cares about. You get as many arms as possible because they're dropping like flies. So stockpile as many arms as you can.
Yep. You can't have too much pitching. That's and it's not just it's not just something that the Yankees say. It's every team across the board. That's why moving on from pitching is so hard to do, because you never know. You don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know what they're gonna become. But one thing's to if they're able to get a healthy Hamilton into that bullpen, with Tim Hill, Weaver, and Williams, holy shit, I'm ecstatic with that. That really gives me confidence that they could finish out games if they grab a lead.
Shortening the game would be important, but like Ken says, the bullpen's going to be taxed. So they got to get some of these other guys healthy. We can't forget Efros is hurt again. Brubaker's hurt again. Exactly. Fernando Cruz, who I was excited about, has looked horrific. So I don't know if he's going to be reliable. Alan Winans has been good. I thought he would have been an option, but he's been assigned to minor league camp. We'll see. There's still a chance he can crack the team when they put some guys in the 60-day IL. I'm trying to think of who else they could possibly go with. I know we have another spot open for a lefty. Hedrick can make it. Maybe it's just Trinzi makes it, but they both haven't been great this spring. They could use another lefty. I don't know if they have one available. Maybe one of those guys shakes loose. Maybe they pull off a last-second trade with a team like St. Louis, who has a bunch of lefties. Alex Wood is... I don't know if they add a free agent at this point. I thought if they were going to add an arm, that should have been the beginning of the spring, because remember last year when Snell and Montgomery might get traded, although I don't know if the Yankees... Unless the Diamondbacks are paying like all of the contract, I don't see anybody really wanting to trade for him. He's been terrible. I feel bad, so bad for Monty.
I know. And then the more Arizona's going to have to take of that contract, the more expensive the prospect package is going to be. Keep that in mind too, everybody. If we were taking the entire salary, we could probably get away with, some of the low level prospects. The ones that are not on the cusp of really making an effort to make this team. If they're going to take all of the money, you're going to see some of these high-end guys just disappear, and we're going to be pissed off about it. As much as I would want Monty back, and, I'll start it. I didn't want him to leave to begin with. But, what do you think about D-Rob? Doran brought his name up. Because he's at the tail end of his career. Now, here's what I think. One, I would like to see D-Rob come back only because that's one of Kelly's favorite players. She always enjoyed, having D-Rob around, right? So, but I would rather have an experienced arm that understands the situation that the Yankees are in with having to preserve innings and stretch, and not over exhaust the bullpen. I think that they're better off trying to get more of a veteran arm rather than a prospect that was optioned, that was out of options and was DFA'd. I'd rather the experience because we don't have the offense like we did last year, where the offense can carry the team. It's got to be a balance this year. I think the Yankees need to take that into consideration.
It's again, but you're running a risk by signing somebody right now that hasn't been able to throw, because they're going to need time to get ready anyway. So it's not like if they sign Robert, I would love D-Rob back. If they signed him today, he wouldn't be available till like the end of April anyway. So maybe they take a look at Brooks Raley, who's working his way back from injury, and he'll be back mid-season. So it's not like you're running a risk anyway. If you can get him to like a 1 year with an option, maybe you go that route. But Ken does bring up a good point. They do have a lot of guys coming back. Cousins is another guy that I forgot to mention. He's working. Yeah, he's working his way back. So they do have guys. Loizaga is going to be back in next month or in late April, early May. So they do have guys coming back. It's just like, can they survive the first month? Because they know that bullpen's going to be taxed, and that Scranton, what is it called? The Scranton shuttle is going to be overused, and they don't have enough arms right now. Because remember, Beater's also hurt, and he would have been a guy that could have given you some innings. So it's going to be interesting.
You should just list who's healthy. Never mind who's hurt.
Right, yeah. Good luck listing who's healthy, because Beater, Brubaker, Efros, Cousins, Loizaga, Matzik, these are all guys that are hurt, and the other options haven't really been that good. Like Cruz has been terrible, Hedrick's been bad, Zatrinski's been bad. A couple of arms like Reiselman's been really good. He's been impressive this spring. Winans has had a good spring. So there are some arms out there that can give us some innings, but I do think maybe I would have loved to see D-Rob back. I just think it's too late. I think they should have done that.
I think the ship sailed, really.
Yeah, they should. If they were going to bring him back, they should have done it before the spring started. But maybe you take a flyer on Raley, who's working his way back from an injury. Although you can make the same argument if you sign a guy now, you get him back when he's ready, and that could be where D-Rob is. But I think they need another lefty. I want them to add another lefty, because the guys that we did have in camp outside of Hill haven't been very good. Although Hedrick does have the strikeout ability, and he can eat some innings. So there's that.
Yeah, and John, I'm looking, we'll start going to some of these comments as we close out the week. You made me have to play situational baseball now instead of the easy way out with power hitters. It's not so much, we always rely on situational hitting because you need the runners on for the big home run. But we've seen games, we saw a few games last year where it wasn't always about the home run. It was just really beating up on the starting pitcher and having patient at-bats. There were a number of games where we were doing we would come on in the morning, talk about the game the night before, where the opposing pitcher is averaging 20 pitches an inning. And wearing the pitching down is going to help you win series. But we don't have that one cog in the wheel with Juan Soto, who is an extremely patient batter. So when you take that one piece away, you still have to wait to see when the games matter in the standings, who's going to be that guy that takes that mantle. And also we don't have Torres either, who was also a very patient hitter.
Yeah, you obviously we've lost a ton of pop. We've lost a ton of on base with Soto. We lost the pop with Torres and Soto. We lost pop with Stanton. So it's going to be up to guys like Ben Rice and Jason Dominguez, who's been really turning it up.
He's starting to turn up, yeah.
His bat has been fantastic the last couple of weeks. And you notice how no one's talking about his glove anymore because he's been doing just fine. And there was someone who made a mistake. They owned up to it, but they put it up on Twitter yesterday like Dominguez is phoning it in left field. The ball was like 5 rows back. What do you want him to do? But the guy owned up to it. He's like, I didn't realize the wind was that bad. But these are the kind of things that people are seeing at first glance and going, oh, he can't do it. So Dominguez has been great.
What did we say after those first couple of games? You gotta give him
time.
minimum 2 weeks of the spring.
We said right around this time, if it's like March 20th and he's still having these issues, then you have the conversation. But we haven't been having those conversations. We haven't been having to have those conversations. So I think it's been great watching Dominguez start to hit the crap out of the ball. So if he does well, if Ben Rice is able to give you maybe 20 home runs, I don't want to put anything higher than that, but if he can be that kind of a pop from the left side of the plate, if Cabrera can hit the ball well, if Volpe turns it up, he's starting to swing the bat better. Austin Wells has had a fantastic spring. Bellinger can't get him out. I'm not worried about Aaron Judge. I cannot stress that enough. No matter when I don't care if it's spring, the first week of April, they will never hear me say I'm concerned about Aaron Judge in the regular season. The playoffs is another story. Regular season, I'm not worried about Aaron Judge. He will go on a tear at some point, whether it's April 12th starting or if it's the first day of the season. I don't care that he has no home runs this spring. I ain't worried about him. But they can have a good offense, and I do agree they can use the speed, situational hitting, and boy, am I happy we have a full season of Jazz Chisholm. I'm very happy for him. We got speed now, and we haven't had that for a while.
Yeah, no, he's really he was doing fine this spring, but he's really starting to elevate to that point where there's no concern whatsoever on opening day. Yeah, it's Jazz, full season of Jazz. We were saying it when we first traded for him. You know, one of the first things we said, actually, when we were evaluating the team for this year after the season ended, one of the factors, I believe it was you that brought it up, because what you had said, you goes, also remember you're gonna have a full season of Jazz. So this is something that you've predicted, you've stood by, and it's paying dividends for you.
And Doran, I hope the noise is not picking up because they are right outside my window. But Doran brings up a great point. What he did last season as a Yankee, 35 homers and 58 steals. That's what it would be for a full season. If we get that from Jazz Chisholm, you extend him on the spot. I'm just going to say it right now.
Yeah, no, it's and then having him back at second. And it's also one of those, even if you do have to slot him at third for a game or two, we've already seen he's more than capable of doing that. What is it with the noise?
It's just noise everywhere, guys.
It's squeaky toys.
It's Friday. I got gardeners outside. Tats has a dog toy. Luckily, this is all happening here at the end of the show. Yeah. But yeah,
all in all, I think in summation of it, I'm feeling a lot better today than when spring started. I'm feeling a lot more confidence in the team. I think some of the players, it's unfortunate with Peraza. We'll have to wait and see on what's going to happen with him. But, like you said, I haven't even been paying attention to the numbers from Judge because I'm not worried about him. Judge is going to judge. That's it. The injuries, it seems like players like Ben Rice and Don Smith have elevated to the occasion of not having Stanton. That gives me confidence. So I'm really feeling good going into this season.
Completely agree. I'm excited.
Yeah. That is going to wrap things up for us on this Friday. We do hope everybody does enjoy their weekend. Make sure you tune in Sunday. for the Upper Deck with Lynn and Sierra. They put on a phenomenal show. You are definitely going to enjoy it if you've never checked it out before. Hit that notification bell because we can't ask Donald at this point if he is doing Yanktified on Saturday. So make sure when you subscribe, hit that notification bell so when we do schedule shows, you never miss a thing. And we will be back Monday morning, 10 a.m. What will our 26-man roster look like? Are the three of us going to have similarities, or how different is it going to be? So you are going to have to tune in to find out. And also, if you want any comments, or we are building up on projects for memberships, so the members will get exclusive content that nobody else will see. So make sure if you are interested in that, hit the memberships, and let's get that built up because we have some really fun stuff on the back burner waiting for that to grow. So with that being said, hope everybody does enjoy their weekend. This is the Pitch Dark Chronicles. I'm Uncle Taz. I was here at Rubino, and all of you phenomenal people. So just make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this out, your friends, your family, strangers on the corner. And just remember, wear those pinch arch of pride and play hard.